Okay.
Hi, I'm John Noser. This is Board Game Geek TV. I'm at Gen Con 2013. I have Seth Jaffe from Tasty Minstrel Games, and we're going to take a look at the expansion to Village called Villiage Inn.
Indeed. Village Inn is an expansion to Village, as was mentioned. So I'll assume everyone knows about Village, which is a really awesome game. If you haven't played it, you should totally check it out. Won the Kenner Spiel last year. So Village Inn adds two things. It's not a whole lot of content for an expansion, but it's really good stuff. The first thing it adds is pretty simple. It adds another player's worth of pieces so that you can play with 5 players. So you could just add that and nothing else and play regular Village with 5 players. So that's pretty cool. A lot of groups have 5 players and want to play this game.
You're going to have to argue whoever gets the gray pieces, though.
Yeah, the gray pieces, indeed. So that's one thing it adds. The other thing it adds, which is a very cool addition, and it works pretty seamlessly, and you see, is the tavern, I guess it's called the Inn, and also the brewery.
It would make sense. It's the Inn. The expansion is called the Village Inn.
Yes, it does. So that is true. So perhaps it's the Inn. So we have a brewery, which is another craft building, and the brewery allows you to brew beer. You can either spend wheat to get beer, or you can train a person to brew beer and then pay time, and you get 2 beer when you do that. So beer is another good, I think it's called, like a horse or a plow. So that's another thing you can do. Now there, of course, are some customers who want beer, so they'll pay you mightily or happily for beer. But mostly what you do with the beer is you use it at the tavern or the inn in order to get the aid of these villager cards. So there are a bunch of villager cards. Actually, so the mechanic is that there are 3 stacks of villager cards.
Okay.
So you can see 3 available. When you go to the inn, and you must send a person with you, the first thing you have to do is cycle one of them to the bottom of the stack, which is interesting because it keeps them changing. It doesn't stagnate with 2 ones that nobody wants on there. Then you're allowed to, if you wish, talk to the abbot or the priest or the noblewoman, whatever's on top, by paying them a beer or a coin, or some of them want 2 beer, in order to get the card. So let's say, for example, that I wanted this abbot. I would pay a beer and I would get the abbot. And this would come to my, section, my play area. And in the future, I could use this abbot to teleport a guy into the last window at the church.
Oh, nice.
So that's a gain of a couple of points right there, or 4 points or something.
Hey, abbot.
So I could use that as a one-time, ones with a lit candle are a one-time benefit that'll help you during the game in some way. The other type...
there's an unlit candle.
The other type is the burned out candle that's burned down. Those are end game bonus scoring, or not bonus, but scoring opportunities. This particular guy, the Count, for example, gives you 2 additional points for each of your travel markers in the 3 castles. 3 of the travel locations are castles. Yep. They look like castles. They're the kind of faraway ones. For each of those that you have a traveler in, you get an extra 2 points on top of everything else. Other ones, they have ones that help you score. They help you score the book. If you're in the book, you can score a 6th guy, and it's better rates. They have one that helps you score the traveling. You get a better travel rates. Stuff like that. This one's if you're in last place, you get 6 points, or if you're in not last place, you get 3 points. And then there's some that the guild masters that let you get some points for collecting up cubes of a particular color. For example, this scholar likes you to collect pink cubes. You'll get 2 or 4 or 6 points for 1 or 2 or 3 cubes.
And that's just what you have at the end of the game?
Right, but if you have too many, you get 0. So if you get 4 or more, and you get 0. So there's a little bit of risk, I guess, that you can get too many and then you get 0. So, but it's a pretty good scoring thing otherwise.
Cool.
So I like these guys personally. And then there's other ones that have all kinds of effects. So these guys help you out quite a bit, and it fits in seamlessly. You might see that these have these jagged punch-outs edges, and you might wonder why that is. If you punch this out and overlay it over where the book is on the board, it fits perfectly over the artwork.
Okay.
And you almost forget you're looking at an overlay. And so what do you do with the book then if you cover up the book? Well, you'd use the 5-player book that they give you off to the side, and they even have the border here so it doesn't look jagged. The jagged parts, if you imagine the board, that's where the score track is.
Okay.
Similarly, this one, they give you a new graveyard for 5 players, and of course, the brewery. The brewery has the jagged edges too for the same reason.
Looks like they have some sort of border here for the edge of the board.
That's if you want to use this and you've taken it out of the sprue, I believe.
Cool.
And they have the setup for 5 players. set up for 5 players if you're playing with the brew. Set up for 5 players and without the brew.
Okay.
So it has all
How
the stuff
much
you can do.
time does it add to the game?
In my experience, it doesn't add a whole lot to the game. 5 players would add a little bit to the game because you got another player.
Of course.
Not unlike any other game, but not a whole lot. And the brew, adding the tavern or brew stuff, there are a few more cubes to take each round, so it adds a little bit of time. But in my plays of it, we haven't really noticed. Maybe it's because we've been enjoying it so much, but it does add a little, but a very little time to the playtime.
Okay, cool.
But
so when is this going to be available in the U.S.?
I believe it just arrived and should be in stores as of a week or 2 ago. Or 3, something like that. Within the last couple of weeks, so it might be in your store just as we speak.
Cool. So that's, again, the expansion to Village, called the Village Inn. Thank you very much, Seth Jaffe, for showing us the expansion.
Thank you. You're welcome.